Good evening and welcome to KMTV. I'm Louisa Britton, your top stories tonight. Man sent to prison after attacking wheelchair user. Fire rips through Chatham pub. And meet a top Kent chef. But first tonight, a man's in hospital after he was stabbed during a burglary in Longfields. He was attacked when 3 men forced their way into a house on Monday evening. They made threats and demanded money before taking a watch, a ring and keys. We've been told he's in a serious condition. A man's been arrested after reports he ran down a street in Borstal with a gun. Armed officers were called to Brambley Crescent yesterday afternoon, but he said no shots were fired and no one was injured. Today, a 28-year-old man from Rochester voluntarily went to the Medway police station. He was arrested on suspicion of possessing an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. A man's been sentenced to more than 2 years in prison after he admitted robbing and punching a disabled man in Dover. 44-year-old Troy Smith attacked the man who was in a wheelchair by hitting him in the face. Smith then threatened to burn him alive if he reported it to the police. A man killed in a crash on Crossways Boulevard in Greenhithe on Christmas Eve has been named. 28-year-old Liam Rogerson died after being hit by a black Vauxhall Corsa on a zebra crossing at about 6 o'clock in the evening. He had travelled to Kent with his brother to spend Christmas with their sister. A man and woman in their 20s were arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. They've been bailed until May. The 3 people found dead at the White Cliffs of Dover all suffered multiple injuries. The inquest into twins Muriel and Bernard Burgess's death took place this morning. The 49-year-olds were found at the foot of cliffs at Langdon Bay on New Year's Day. A former soldier, Scott Enyon, was also found there, but his death is not thought to be connected to the twins. The coroner has now adjourned the hearing until March, when evidence on all 3 deaths will be heard in full. Police said none of the deaths were being treated as suspicious. A fire's torn into a pub in Chatham. Crews were called to the Victoria Cross pub in Lordswood Lane. Harry Pete went there earlier today.
I'm at the Victoria Cross pub here in Lordswood, where around 4 a.m. last night a fire is said to have broke out in the pub and Indian restaurant joined to its next door. At around 8 o'clock in the morning, fire crews were able to put out the main fire here. However, the ground floor has been completely destroyed. A man is said to have been rescued from the top floor window of the restaurant and was seen to by paramedics and fire crews, but does not have any serious injuries. Fire crews and police are still here investigating the scene. However, it is still unknown as to what has caused the fire. The family-run pub had only recently reopened after undergoing major refurbishment work in time for Christmas. The owners of the pub have been out of the country, but their brother Tanuj Uppal was the first on the scene.
The flames were really high. Don't know the reason, why it happens, but yeah, a lot of work was done here. We worked very hard, actually, day and night, to make it, refurbish it. It was a whole family effort, actually. It was brand new. We finished everything in November, so it was doing good, but now, unfortunately, this happened.
And finally, a cook's been named South East School Chef of the Year. Barry Brewington works at Medway University Technical College.
Yeah, it's fantastic, yeah. I mean, we've worked very hard at it, and we've still got work to do to go to the regional finals, but to win our area has been brilliant. I mean, it's been a great boost for the uni. I mean, it's a new university, so it's really just rolling into about our first year here, so, to get that accolade is great, We will be working at sort of polishing it up and trying to get it as perfect as possible for the regionals, which is early March. Yeah, we'd like to win it, but at the end of the day, we're up against everybody within the UK, so we're all out to win it. So we're all going to be working and fighting very hard to win it. So to be honest, we've not really thought that far ahead yet.
And just before we go, here's Keelan Webster with a look at the weather.
Winds will increase with temperatures at around 4 or 5 degrees as darkness descends on the county this evening. Although it might feel a tad warmer on Thursday morning due to the slight drop in winds, it will be a drizzly start to the day with rain starting to set in. And it's all set for a pretty horrid afternoon, I'm afraid, with winds increasing and rain getting harder.
Well, that's all from us this evening. We'll be back again tomorrow with all the latest stories from across your county. In the meantime, don't forget you can always keep up to date by listening to KMFM or logging on to kentonline.co.uk. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.